Hello, and welcome to my ninth podcast of Free Your Mind. You're with me, your host, Global Teacher and Combo. Alright, so today we're going to look at envy. What is envy? Where does it come from? How do you control it? How do you suppress it? How do you react to people who envy you? Alright, so I'm here for you guys, don't worry. But in the meantime, I want to give a shout out to Joseph Kalelani, aka Tay Green. He just released his new single called Joseph Kalelani. Go check it out on YouTube and on all social media platforms. Alright. Okay, so what is envy? Envy is derived from a Latin word called envidere. Envidere means to look at someone with malice. So basically, envy explains an attitude and an emotion that's negative towards someone else. Secretly admired someone else's superior qualities and wish that they were yours and wish that they lacked them but you had them. That's what envy is about. That's what envy is about. Most of the times, public figures and people who are financially successful, or they're successful in their marriages or their relationships, or they have a child and you don't, all these qualities that you don't have that someone else has but you never wish they had because you wanted them, you think you deserve them better than that person. That's what's called envy. Now I want to get into depth about envy. Stay tuned. 3 kinds of envy: episodic envy, situational envy, and dispositional envy. Okay, so what is episodic envy? What is episodic envy? Episodic envy is when you compare yourself to another person in a social context and you associate negative feelings towards that person because you want what they have. For example, I'll take for example 2 singers, yeah? Let's say Mary and Joseph, they started together in music, right? And both of them are talented, both of them have been exposed to the same resources and the same access to people and everything. But then one day, life changes for Mary. A manager for a record label comes in and then gives Mary a chance to sign a record deal that will change her life forever. And Mary becomes popular, she becomes successful, rich, and well-known everywhere, while Joseph is still struggling in the background, trying to find a proper record deal or maybe work out as an independent. But he's struggling. They're not on the same level with Mary anymore. So they meet in the streets and Mary says hi to Joseph and Joseph says hi back. So Mary's life has changed and Joseph is starting to look at that Mary is a green-eyed monster, yet they were friends before that. So what Joseph is feeling is called episodic envy. Emotional envy comes into play when you feel like someone who has a privilege did not deserve it. For example, there are situations where you have worked your way up in society, you come from a humble background, you've experienced a lot of things, and you've worked your way up in a company, you got promoted for a job, and then someone else who's related to your boss comes into the company and gets a promotion that you wanted. But you feel like this person doesn't deserve it because they're using nepotism against you. So the feelings of envy accompanied in that situation, they're accompanied by resentment. So that is situational envy. That's a second type of envy. Envy is an envious type that occurs in someone's character. Ever met somebody who's competitive for nothing? They just don't want you to have access to anything. They are envious of everyone in their circle. They want to do better than everyone. They want to be the better everyone. They want to be the center of attention. It's accompanied with narcissistic personality disorder. People with narcissistic NPD usually suffer from disposition and envy as well because in their minds they're better than everyone else. So when they see someone who's succeeding more than them, to them it's a threat. So it's accompanied by feelings of hostility and depression. They get depressed because you're happy. Can you imagine that? So these are the 3 types of envy. Now let me get into a different perspective of this. Let me get into first I'm going to get into 2 different perspectives. First, in the perspective of someone who's envying, and in the perspective of someone who's envied. Alright, so let me talk about someone who's envying. What happens in the mind? What happens with the emotions when someone is envying you? Okay, so what is envy? What happens when someone is envious? When someone is envying, what happens when you're envying someone? Envy is accompanied by inadequate feelings associated with comparison of people in your circle. So it's an inclination that happens around the people around you, the people that you are associated with. are the most ones who are subjected to your envy, to a person's envy. Most of the time, it happens when someone is making you feel inferior and inadequate, and that person is making you feel like you're behind financially, mentally, emotionally, every step of the way. So normally, as human beings, we like to feel equal, or we like to feel above others. I feel like it's an animal instinct that is developed as human beings. If we do not have instincts in us, would be animals. So that's how animals behave. We come from the animal planet, only that we have instincts in us that tell us the difference between good and bad. Just because we know the difference between good and bad, it does not mean that we are not susceptible to negative emotions Okay, so the other question would be, what should I do when I feel envious of someone else? When you feel envious of someone else, project the feelings and reflect on yourself and ask yourself, why am I feeling inadequate towards this person? That is because there's something lacking in you that you have to fulfill, that you have to chase after in order for you to feel validated in your own circle. For example, if you know that maybe your friend or yours has gotten a scholarship to study somewhere and you don't have that, why not, instead of you trying to sabotage someone's scholarship, why not you also look for your own scholarship online, or maybe ask your friend to say, how did you do this? If they don't want to tell you, that's fine. You still have to go around and check for your own scholarship, because if someone in your circle can get a scholarship, chances are that you can get it too. Instead of looking at it from a negative perspective of sabotaging someone else's success, why not take it from a positive side of admiration and just learn from that person and see how far they've gotten in life, and try to tap into that knowledge and make it work for yourself. The honest truth is, if you act on negative envy, chances are that it's gonna backfire. Maybe you might be successful in sabotaging someone's life now, but eventually it will backfire, because I personally believe in karma, but I also personally believe in self-sabotage. Alright, so it's better when you feel envious of someone. It's either, if you have a guts to still be in that person's circle, it's better for you to ask them, inquire knowledge on how they succeeded in life, and also implement that in your own space. But do not obsess, all right? Nobody likes an obsessed person in their space. Nobody likes people who try too hard. It's already a red flag. And secondly, if you know that you can't handle this negative emotions towards this person because I want their life, I want everything that they have, distance yourself from them. Distance yourself from them. Find yourself. Find another circle. Find someone who makes you feel comfortable when you're around them. Someone who makes you feel happy, who makes you feel validated, who makes you feel like you're worth something. Because if you're around people who make you feel inferior, who make you feel like you have nothing to prove, you have nothing to achieve, those people are not supposed to be in your circle, because they'll lead to more negative feelings towards you, and you're going to act on them one day, even though it's not in your character. But negative emotions build up if you cannot handle them, and one day you're going to be looked like the villain who is a failure in life. So imagine people already looking at you like a failure in life, and then you mess up, you act on your own envy, you try to sabotage someone's life, and now they look at you like you're wicked and you're evil, meaning that you have 2-3 build up of negative emotions, both internally and externally, and we don't want that now, do we? We don't want that. We don't want that. We are above certain emotions. We can handle them. All right. Okay, now, so let me take it in the context of someone envying you. What did you do to deserve it? Pretty much nothing. Nobody deserves negative attitude towards them because they're doing better than you. No, nobody deserves that. But there's certain issues, there's certain factors that you might have contributed to someone's envy, indirectly or directly, and you do not see it because you felt your innocence is what brought you there. So sometimes you overshare things with your people in your circle in an innocent way, you get it? But you don't see that you are threatening them. You are threatening their mere existence, their mere social status. You are threatening them. And not only that, it comes off as if you're boasting to them, or you're mocking them indirectly. Some people perceive that energy that way while you're just trying to share the joy with them, but they're perceiving as if you're mocking them. You see that? So you always have to be careful. Do not overshare your information to people, regardless of how close you think you are. Everybody has insecurities. So when you overshare your successes and your achievements to someone, it forces them to internalize it and perceive themselves and see where they are in life. And then when they see that they're inadequate, when they see that the things are not moving as they thought they were, they will project that hostility towards you, that resentment towards you. Because why? You have led them to compare their lives with yours. So am I not supposed to have people in my circle? What am I not supposed to share issues with them? You're supposed to have people in your circle, but you're supposed to have people in your corner too. They should be in your circle, but they should also be in your corner. Let them not be in your circle and then be the ones to drag you down because of their own insecurities. No. Secondly, you should learn to be mentally independent. Mental independence means that you don't need people's validation in order to succeed in life. You don't need them to tell you what to do with your own successes. You don't need to show them the procedures of what you're doing. You don't need to show them your successes. You need to just keep that issue to yourself and keep it moving, honey. Because why? You are the one who has to hustle. Your destiny is not their destiny. So when you're going in that space to validate yourself, it already proves how insecure you are, or maybe how narcissistic you might be, thinking that someone can be happy for you when they do not really have what you have. So it's not good to overshare information about yourself to others, regardless of how much you care about them. They might care about you too, but remember, they're also human beings, capable of feeling insecure, capable of feeling inadequate, capable of feeling hostility, capable of feeling resentment, capable of feeling depression. All right. So let me just before I get too comfortable, I get carried away sometimes. Let me just give you 5 ways in order for you to handle people who are envious towards you. So when you notice that someone is envious of you, whether you have close you, whether it's your relative, your friend, or your colleague, whoever it is, they're going to display negative comments towards you, and they're going to interfere in your life so that they can sabotage your own happiness. So you better avoid such people. Now let me tell you different ways to do it. Okay. Now someone would say, a friend or relative or anybody that's close betrayed me. How come I didn't see this coming? How was I stupid? You cannot really see an envious person coming because they start off with a mask. They come in your space with good intentions, with support and everything, but sometimes they try to make you sabotage you on your own. They give you the wrong advice. They try to come in your life, become an important aspect of your life. They try to insert themselves in your life so that they can watch you damage yourself. They can watch you sabotage. If they cannot do that, and if they see that every time you're succeeding, that's when now they become enraged and they will hurt you. Either way, they'll do whatever they can to drag you down. So there's no way you can see it coming because they start off with a mask. They come off like they have good intentions. They come off with that. Maybe they do start with good intentions, but when they see that you're more threatening to them, they now insert themselves to make you fail in life. When they don't do that, when you're still succeeding, that's when they become distressed, they become depressed, and they become hostile. They will do whatever it takes to drag you down. So my advice to you is avoid whoever it is, whoever you think is important in your life. They're not important enough for you to tolerate. They're not important for you enough for them to cause you emotional harm. Run for the hills, love. If you notice the signs in someone, don't even try to strike a conversation with them because they will deny their own feelings. Because nobody likes to admit that I'm envious of you. No, they're going to be defensive. They're going to pinpoint flaws in you. They're going to make you look like you're the bad one. They're going to play victim against you. So the one thing you should never do is confront an envious person. As a matter of fact, just pretend like you're not seeing and just let it go. Slowly distance yourself and then poof, you're gone, honey. It's okay to understand someone based on your history. Maybe that person has been going through stuff and all these things. Understand. It's okay to understand. It's okay, this one's going through, but do not tolerate, okay? Because at the end of the day, you have your own life to own up to, not theirs. You get it? There's certain protective boundaries that you have inserted yourself because everybody has a problem. Everybody has problems going on in their lives. But if that person has the nerve to come in your space to project their own problems onto you, then they're the ones who are wicked. So do not tolerate that. At the end of the day, you do not have to feel bad for succeeding in life because that is your life, nobody's life. Okay? So learn how to love yourself first. Be loyal to yourself first. Protect yourself and put yourself first and protect your boundaries. Alright? You do not owe anybody failure. Okay? You owe yourself success. Always remember that. Never apologize to anybody for wanting a good life. It's not about them, it's about you. Okay? And it's not about you, it's about them. You get it? I don't know if you're getting it. They will try to come in your space to overshadow you and your own accomplishments or your own emotion and your own happiness. Just ignore, man. Ignore that. Learn how to be emotionally intelligent. Ignore certain signs. Certain people don't need your time. Certain people don't need your life. They don't need your response. They don't deserve your emotions. Just ignore them and keep it moving, okay? At the end of the day, we all have one life to live, and if you're not living your life for you, then there's something wrong. Don't live your life for someone else, all right? Live your life for you. Last most important factor is do not always overshare your information. Do not always shout out your achievements to the world, because sometimes we sin of innocence. We sin of innocence in the context that we expect people to be happy for us, even though we are exuding a wave of happiness to other people. That's when we make a mistake. Because sometimes your best wave of happiness is someone else's view of sadness. So you better be careful what you share to people, no matter how close you are with people. Certain things just deserve to be between you and God, okay? Certain things just deserve between you and God. Certain achievements, everything, do not have the tendency of oversharing, because some people are lacking with what you have. So when you overshare that aspect, it's like you're reminding them that they don't have it. So how do you expect someone to be happy for you when they're struggling in life trying to achieve what you have? It's not realistic. So thank you guys for watching. I think I've talked so much on envy, and I hope you're educated, and I hope you know what to do when you feel envious of someone else, and you know what to do when someone feels envious of you. Remember, envy is not evil. Alright, it's a normal human emotion. But when you act on negative envy to sabotage someone else's happiness, now that's wickedness and that's evil. Instead of externalizing your own insecurities, why don't you give yourself time, give yourself a break, and give yourself space in order to find yourself and find a circle that's more adequate to you. Find your circle that makes you comfortable, and find a dream in your life that makes you feel happy instead of focusing on other people's lives. It's okay to mind your own business, okay? It's very okay to mind your own business. All right, thank you guys for watching my episode of Free Your Mind, my podcast. And I'm looking forward to more comments, more likes, and more engagement with you guys. Stay blessed, and thank you for watching.